Hello, everyone. Susan Gerbic here from Psychics Explained. I have another guest host with me, and it's going to be super exciting because she's an old friend of mine. And not that she's old, but she is a very old friend of mine. In fact, I'm really glad we're recording this at night. There's a reason because in the daytime, the sun comes in my window and you can't see my artwork that you created for me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I That is one of the curses of my job. Occasionally I walk into somebody's house and discover that they've had artwork that I drew 20 years ago or
Love
something.
it. Well, it wasn't 20 years, 2017. So I love it. I absolutely adore it. So this caricature right here, Celeste drew for me in 2017 at a conference we attended together in Los Angeles, right?
I think that was yeah, Skeptical LA.
Yeah.
Uh yeah, we I'm a caricature artist by trade. I do all sorts of caricatures and illustration cartoons and occasionally covers of Skeptical Inquirer.
Hmm.
And yeah, but just like you, Susan, I've got like my artistic side that I've applied as a trade, but then I do a lot of skepticism stuff too.
And it's fascinating the way you're able to take your art and the what you know about art and people and pareidolia and all that kind of stuff. I've seen many of your lectures and I just absolutely adore them. You bring a different perspective to what we're seeing and what visually is going on. I remember you did a lot of things with the what are those people called who were showing up and they were saying that it's the same person that's here and they're also the
Oh,
same person.
crisis actors
That's it. That was
and
really
why
interesting.
why conspiracy believers can fall for the whole crisis actor thing. It sounds far fetched, but if you have somebody with the same expression in a photograph, it's easy to believe because expression is so key to likeness.
Hmm.
And the live work, when I do caricatures, I'm interacting with somebody for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm interacting with a couple, and I've been doing this now for 33 years, and I could be such a good cold reader if I wanted to. I have seriously, somebody has sat down for me before, and I've been like, "You're a cop and you're a teacher," and they were like, "How did you know that?" There's little tells that everybody gives out, and if you just have a conversation with somebody, they give things away without realizing it. I've been accused of being psychic simply because I remembered what they said 2 paragraphs ago and they forgot they said it.
Oh yeah, this is the perfect alley for you. I'm so glad you're here because you're going to catch on a lot of things that I'm sure I didn't catch. And please plug the website, the podcast you're on, which I
This
never missed.
podcast,
Oh, she had the sticker ready. Look at it.
Wearing the Strange with
It is really
Spencer
good.
Ward and Ben Radford. Yeah, we I think, gosh, we just hit 270 episodes, which is nothing compared to like the 900 episodes of Skeptic Zone, and so some of the other big names in skepticism have been doing this for 20 years. But we're proud of what we've done, and we try to keep it fun.
I never miss an episode. I enjoy it more than you can imagine. It's really, really good. I I like the interviews you guys do. I've been on once or twice, and
If you ever stop liking the podcast, we're going to quit making it.
oh yeah, that's all about Susan Gerbic's like and not. I listen to very few podcasts these days because I'm just so busy creating content, but it's like hanging out with friends as well as learning so much. Oh my gosh, there's so Ben has taught me so much. Ben Radford has taught me so much about empathy over the years too, and seeing it from the perspective of the person who's experiencing whatever paranormal, whatever is going on. It's been great. It really is a great show. I like the music. That's
Shrink
a
Back,
plug.
band from the 80s. Ben actually got them to do music that he bought the rights to, and it's our own little slice of 80s rock.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, so
Anyway,
we go way back.
yeah.
I wanted to mention one thing before we get started, and it's fresh in my mind because I have said this one phrase multiple times actually over the last few years, but I have said it on the last two videos that I have made. And then I was listening to Squaring the Strange Today episode with listener feedback
It's
And you said
270. Yeah.
270?
Yeah.
And you said just exactly what I've been saying. And it was like, we're like twin flames.
Oh, maybe this will be redundant to have both of us comment on this
No,
video.
no, no.
What
You
was
said
it?
it was about misinformation, and that I keep talking about Sputnik moment, and that there is that I feel like, and I'm an optimist, okay? I'm a huge optimist. They call me a Pollyanna, and that I feel like we are going through a nightmare of misinformation where expertise is not respected, that
Yeah.
we're throwing away all of our um, education for just clicks and views, and it just pisses me off. But what I think is going to happen, and I said this a bunch of times, so there is video showing me saying this, that there is a giant, I think of it as a pendulum that's going to move to the other side,
Pendulum is going to swing. Yep.
and it's going to swing, and we're going to be at a time where information, correct information, is important. People are going to care about it. People who lie are going to be, I don't know, banished or something. I
It'll
don't
be
know.
looked at as bad again. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day whenever things were
People
bad.
won't vote for somebody who's lying. They won't want to lionize people who are lying left and right. And
Because
yeah,
they're cool or they're whatever. But I really feel like I'm preparing for that time. I feel like I'm living for that moment that I know is going to happen I'm not
yeah.
psychic and nobody is, but a year,
I
two
heard
years, 3
something
years.
today. I've got to look it up. It was some fellow giving a TED talk, and I regret I forget his name, but I was hearing snippets on the radio, and he was just skepticism came up, and he was talking about it was the nature of hope and the nature of optimism versus pessimism, and he said cynicism and skepticism are different because cynics don't trust people and skeptics don't trust assumptions. And I like that. I'm
I love
stealing
that.
that.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because yeah, it's fine to trust people, just don't trust assumptions, theirs or yours or anybody's.
Well, you said you were talking about the pendulum today. Well, when I was listening, you talked about it several days ago, but that pendulum was the same. You did say it.
I
The,
did. Yeah,
yeah. And I thought she's on there. Her and I are on the same path.
yeah.
We're
Well, yeah, we're not the only ones either. Plenty of people are taking hope in the fact that the pendulum is ready to swing back. So we're going to have a lot of work on our hands. Not, well, us personally, and like everybody else who works in science and science communication and all the institutions that have been torn down.
mhm,
Got to build them back up.
literally torn down.
Yeah.
Buildings have been torn down. Oh gosh. Don't even get me started. Okay, so we're going to look at a reading. Now, other people I have gone over and analyzed a video with, I've asked them to pick a reading. And in your case, what I did is I just said, well, is there a reading you want to listen to? And you said, no, just, what did you say? Dealer's choice?
Dealer's choice. Yeah. Send me whatever you got. I'm sure I can make something of it.
Yeah. And I picked a reading, and they are in Nevada, and it doesn't have anything to do with Nevada, but at least I don't.
They said the name of the state correctly. They said it was Nevada. Yeah. So,
Wasn't that what I just said? Nevada?
no, I'm saying they said it correctly. A lot of people who aren't from Nevada say Nevada.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Really?
Nevada?
Well, you're from
Wait, no,
California.
no, it. Nevada?
Nevada. All the East Coasters and mid country people will say it Nevada.
Nevada.
And
Nevada.
there ain't a quicker way to tick off somebody who's from Nevada than to say Nevada.
Never even thought about that before. I guess
Right.
it'd be like Californians being called Cali.
I've heard you guys don't like that. Yeah.
No, we do not care for Cali. Nobody, I don't know who Cali is, but I don't live there. Sorry, we don't do that. We don't even abbreviate it that way. It's CA, or it's the full freaking name.
Word, yeah.
Well, there's worse things to fight over. Okay, so we're gonna look at a reading. I picked a reading for you, almost at random.
Okay.
And I started looking through the transcript of it, and I gave you the transcript to look at. So now we're going to really look at the people's visually. And what I want people to know is that what her and I are looking at right now is the untouched video, large, big screen
So
Matt
we'll be able
Fraser.
to see their expressions if they're like, huh, or
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, or
Mm-hmm.
huh,
Right.
yeah.
We're going to be able to see all of that. And you guys who are watching this right now, well, you're about to find out in a minute, are going to see a blurred version of the people and you won't see their names. And
Yes.
that's just for privacy reasons. And so that means that our job, yours and mine, is to, if we have to make sure we pause and say, here's what you're seeing right now.
Yeah. You'll have to trust our reading of their faces. And if I hear something that I want to call out, that the psychic is, there's like a red flag going on, I will wave my red flag.
Well, I'm not going to see you because I'm going to be full screen.
Oh, okay. Full screening it. Okay.
Yeah. So
Wave
I'm,
my flag in private and I would say,
I like,
Susan,
I
did
like
you
the,
hear what he did?
yeah, you can stop it. I can back up a little bit. That's fine.
Okay.
But I will
Right.
stop often enough that we'll be able to get a lot in there because you kind of have to. It's an
Yeah.
11-minute reading, but let's see how far we can do it. Some parts of it you can kind of skate through, and some parts of it we're gonna have to stop. And that's just the way it is. So what we're gonna see is it's the first reading of the event. It's a gallery reading. And pay attention to, well, there's just going to be a lot happening. But people, as you're watching this, if you want to leave comments down below, I would really appreciate that. I look at all your comments, every single one of them, and I try to respond each time. And I appreciate that because you're going to see and hear things differently than what we are going to do. You're also going to be able to, you have insights and you have life experiences that we don't have, and that possibly it'll mean something to you. I hear from people all the time who have just fantastic insight that I would be like, oh, I'd never heard of that before. Just information, so on. Okay, so yeah, just yell at me if it needs to stop. It's kind of, you'll see where there's a natural progression of where it
All
needs to
right.
stop.
It'll be a
And
little
you've
bit
got
like mystery science theater
a
here,
little bit.
where
We
we're
won't
gonna.
talk over it too much, but we'll pause enough that you should be able to do it. But
Okay.
well, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I do have the script. No, I don't have
Here
the
we go.
same script. I'm going to move this script over here. So you should be able to see Matt right there. There he is. I think he's on autopilot most of the time. And he is a performer. If you watch his hand gestures a lot, you'll see that everything seems very prescribed for fitting into the frame. And well, I've seen a zillion of these readings. His clothing he picks are always matching the background: grays, browns, blacks, beige.
It's a
It
curated space, and he's got the gold wings back there and the candles. So it's like semi-religious, but
mhm.
in a vibey way.
It kind of freaks me out how he always stares right at you. He's a very good cold reader.
Okay.
So I think that I think of him as a performer, to be
Yes.
honest with you.
We're
So
giving props to you, Matt. You're such a good fake. Yay.
so I'm going to stop it in a very quickly. I'm going to stop this because once the people come on screen, and I'm going to have you describe to the audience what these people look like in their approximate ages. But let's listen to about a minute of this and see what he has to say. He's
Okay.
starting off the event.
Again, it's all up to those on the other side. So that being said, I want to get started right away because there's a couple different souls that are stepping forward. But right away when I'm connecting, there's a soul that's stepping forward that tells me right away they passed in tragedy here in this world. And it was questions over their departure and how they had died and somebody being responsible. And right away, I felt like I was being pulled to Marissa and Monica over there. I'm going to start right over there. Pull them up. They look a little bit nervous. I don't know why you guys should be. I should be nervous. I'm the one who has to hear and see the departed.
Here we go. So I'm going to let you describe what you're seeing. This was recorded on the 21st of December, 2025, and you and I are recording this on the 3rd of January, 2026. So you tell the audience what it is you see.
I'm seeing three people, two women and a young man. They look like they're related. I can tell just from their eyes and their facial makeup. They look like they're all related. At the time when I watched this the first time, I wasn't sure if the young man was a husband or something. But now that I get a better look at their faces, I'd say they're probably all siblings, maybe in their late 20s, early 30s. Do you agree with all that?
I think so. Now that I see him really close up, yeah, I think he is visually one of the siblings, and he's wearing cartoons on his shirt.
Yeah, it looks
Wiley
like
Coyote, no, Tasmanian Devil.
Warner Brothers, and he's got a backwards black baseball cap. So,
and there's children's artwork behind him on the wall, and there's a Christmas garland and a stocking.
Like one stocking and a garland. It's like a family home or a corner of the family home.
And we'll see children that will appear later.
Mm-hmm.
What's on the middle person, the brown t-shirt person? What is that?
That looks like I think it's a Star Trek Mandalorian shirt, I think.
Holding a rifle up in the air or something?
Yeah, I think. Not sure.
Well, see, these are all details that we don't necessarily, that may be helpful to whoever's cold reading. So you never know what's going on. Now, I have watched a zillion of these readings, as I said, and I have noticed a trend. There are 3 things that Matt starts with. There's only 3 things he starts with. It's either a parent has died, a grandparent has died, or a mystery person has died. And as I have I've cut up the video so that it makes some sense. It's a trend that if the person who appears on the screen in front of him is under 30 or maybe in the 40s, he's going to go right to mystery person and then let them make it.
And he says soul. He doesn't say a man or a woman, or he just, a soul is this nice catch-all, non-gendered way to describe somebody.
Right. Well, he sometimes says male or female, but it's, if he can also keep it very generic and let them decide. And he'll usually say, I have a couple souls stepping through. And so that way he has an out if one of them doesn't hit. But if he starts with a mystery, it's fascinating to me here, I'm going to unscreen share for a second. Whenever it's a mystery, they go to whoever it is they really wanted to hear from, I think. Now,
so that's a way to open up the guest.
Do you think that people who come to these readings already have in their mind who they want to hear from?
I think it probably depends. I think if you've lost one person that you were really close to, you're going to be hoping for like your best friend or your mom or somebody who's like a major star in your life. If you're older, because a lot of these women who are getting read are in their 50s or 60s, they might have lost 12 people. So whoever comes through is just gravy,
Or it may be somebody they really have a question about.
Who knows? Yeah, well, they kind of get to that here, and they give up a few things, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people in the back of their mind thinks, I hope so and so comes through, because whenever he does mystery and it's generic, they pick people who I don't think are much of a mystery. A mystery death or tragic death. He likes to do tragic death.
They passed and it was a tragedy.
And then you find out it was cancer and they had a long illness or something. And you're like, well,
everybody dying is a tragedy. What is he going to say? They passed and it was a comedy. That would impress me if he could find somebody whose death was actually not a tragedy. But
so I think that because they latch on things that I think wouldn't be a mystery person. And anyway, and as they're going to do here.
Yeah.
This is not a mystery person. He should have just said, okay, here we go back to the video again.
Hi. Marissa, Monica, where are you guys?
I don't know what happened.
I can see you. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
That's so weird.
Hold on, there we go.
Okay, don't scare me like that, please. I have to keep track of the dead. I can't keep track of the living too. Where are you guys?
We're in Nevada.
Oh, perfect. First of all, I'm happy that you're here. So first of all, the moment that I'm connecting, I keep hearing about the soul that's coming through. That's telling me they passed in tragedy here in the physical world. And the moment I'm connecting with them, I'm also hearing about there being depression with them. And they're also telling me about the fact that there was issues with them leaning on addictions here in this world. So first of all, the moment I'm connecting, that soul is stepping forward because I kept hearing, I have to explain my death. I have to explain my death. My family is so upset about what happened to me and about the events that led up to my passing. And this soul was telling me that they had to come through and share everything. And right away, I'm being brought into these visions on how they had died. So first of all, who is that to you?
I'm thinking what, Dad?
Was he separated from your mom at the time?
Yes. Yeah.
That's who it is, because when I'm connecting, kept talking about the separation that had happened and there also being distance between you and him. But
Okay, I'm going to pause. So go ahead. I'm not going to come back to screen share.
So much.
Well, that's why you have to pause so often. And think about it. If we were actually sitting in for this reading and we thought it was somebody, our dad, you just can't keep up. I mean, you and I are sitting here not emotionally attached to this, and it's too much.
Well, the first couple of indicators he laid out there, hoping they would get picked up, was I'm seeing depression. I'm seeing they leaned on addiction, and it almost, and I'm like, okay, he's setting it up for like a young person who died from either drugs or suicide. It seemed like that was the path he was laying out.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who was their age or younger, and then you have the woman in the middle, one of the sisters, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he said somebody who passed, leaned on addiction, and that could mean anything. That could mean somebody who was an alcoholic or into drugs or whatever. And she put her hands to her mouth, like, like it was
like she knew who it was.
And then the girl in front, who seems to be the one in charge of probably setting this whole thing up, because she's in the foreground here and the other two are sitting in the back, almost like she's the driver and they're in the passenger seats.
Mm-hmm.
She starts pointing back to her sister like, oh yeah, he's got our number, and yet when he said, who does this mean to you, he didn't offer it. He didn't say, I'm seeing your cousin George, or I'm seeing so and so. Instead he goes, who does this mean to you?
Exactly.
And they had to confer. They weren't sure at first. They were like, I'm thinking dad. I'm thinking our dad.
I think you're right.
So he gets a clue right there. They're thinking dad, but they weren't immediately sure. And so his next question is, were they separated? Was he separated from your mom? Now that's a good guess anyway, since most marriages end in divorce.
Or they separate for a period of time.
And he asked, he said, so he wasn't saying for sure, I know that he was separated. He said, was he separated from your mom? And they said yes. And then he goes, that's who I'm seeing. And in their mind, they're going to remember that as, he knew our dad had left, but he didn't. He asked you.
He didn't even know that the dad had died.
Yes, he did.
They told him, and that's how they're going to remember this. They're going to say later, we had this reading with this amazing psychic named Matt Fraser, and he knew right away that dad was there, and dad had divorced mom and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you told him all that. They didn't. Matt didn't know it. Matt didn't come on and say, oh, I'm so great to see you guys. This is wonderful. Your father, Joseph, is here with you, and he's so excited about you. And the grandkids, he hasn't seen them in 10 years, other than what, nothing.
But in their body language and in the way that they answered, where they weren't just like, dad, they were like, oh,
could it be dad?
Is it dad? Is it our father? Well, I think they said the words they said was our dad, correct?
Yeah. And I have a feeling that the woman in the brown in the middle was thinking that it was going to be somebody else, because like you said, she grabbed her mouth whenever she's like, oh my gosh, when he said it was addiction issues. And I think
depression.
Maybe it was a female she was thinking of. And
then she just switched tracks and was like, oh, our dad. And because there was the hesitance and it wasn't really like an immediate, click, that tells me, as a non-psychic, everybody's a non-psychic, but that tells me as just an average person who knows what, things mean, they weren't all that close to their dad.
Well,
the dad was probably not around.
Yeah, dad was, they were close to the mom.
They answered, you can tell that. And that's where he goes.
Right. Okay, so let's go back. It gets better, people.
You had not been hearing from him, that there was like this moment where, oh, it was you.
That was me. Me and him, we didn't talk for a while.
Okay, that's what I need to talk about. Listen, when you're here together, your loved ones will talk all together. So please know that when I'm connecting, the moment that I have to speak with him, your dad is here. And I want to start with you because, and what was your name?
Marissa.
Marissa, okay, I'm gonna start with you, Marissa, because even though the two of you are sisters, there's two completely different messages that are here that I'm hearing. So let me start with you, because right away I kept hearing your dad say to me that you were so upset that you did not get to say goodbye to him and that you did not get to heal things before his passing here in this world. And I need you to know this one thing. Your dad said to me, listen, Matt, I was stubborn. My daughter was stubborn too. That's how we are. And your dad says to me, listen, these are his words, not mine. He goes, Matt, we used to get into pissing contests with one another. He says, and me and her used to be like, who could fight the hardest? Who could fight the loudest? So like, I see like you rejecting your dad's calls, him rejecting your calls, you not talking to him not talking to you, because the both of you were like, I'm right, no, he's right, no, I'm right, I'm right. And then I see when I'm connecting, like the two of you both waiting for the other person to apologize or to make things right or to make things happen.
Yes.
So your dad is laughing about this because you're
Okay, I've just made my mind up about something. Now I want to hear what you have to think. Go ahead.
Well, there's a lot of nodding, and he starts with a very generic premise. Your dad wasn't around. He wants you to know that he feels bad that he wasn't around, and you guys didn't get along. But she had already volunteered.
Mhm.
Him and I didn't speak for a while.
Mhm.
And then he proceeds to just say generic things that would fit anybody who wasn't getting along with somebody else.
Mhm.
Oh, he said his ego got in the way and you guys wouldn't talk to each other, and you didn't want to take each other's calls, and neither one of you wanted to give up. Well, you're describing that is the definition of two people who aren't talking, who are in a fight with each other. So
And there was two different readings for two different people. He says,
yes, so
you had different lives with your dad and you saw things differently. Well, that's typical of everybody. And it allows Matt more room to expand into cold reading.
Yeah. Oh, he once had a real soft spot for something. Oh, well, that was actually for your sister.
Mhm.
If it doesn't resonate with one, it'll resonate with the other. But all three siblings, the brother is also nodding as well, though not as vehemently as his two sisters.
Right. And you know why? Because he's not acknowledged at all. And that's what I want to say is when I've listened to this a few times, I saw the picture smaller. Now that I'm seeing this large,
Mhm.
this is a sibling. This is their brother. And you can see even in the interactions, the way that the woman in brown interacts with the brother, she
Yeah.
doesn't go over and hug him. He doesn't go over and hug her. It's a sibling. It's like she kind of looks at him like, you punk kid.
Well, they kind of have an understanding. All three of them are nodding and kind of looking at each other,
Mhm.
indicating that they all three remember the guy. I mean,
And he starts crying. I could see it. He
Yeah.
tears up and he's wiping his tears away. And at first, when I thought it was like a husband of one of these women,
yeah.
this is clearly the brother, and he's tearing up. And I think what's going to happen, and I'm just going to watch I'm going to watch the rest of the reading from his perspective, because I think it's cruel because he's totally ignored.
Well, what it is Matt, again, I'm seeing the readings I've seen Matt do is he's very marketing minded. He's not marketing to that guy. He doesn't market to men. He's marketing to the two women. They are far more likely to buy repeat tickets to his events.
Well, now yes, and you're right. And here's the thing. Now that I'm seeing this for multiple times, when Matt is talking about being at loggerheads with your dad and fighting with him and blah blah blah, the brother there is resonating with that. That's when he started to cry, because I bet he's the one who's had a turbulent life with his dad. They were at loggerheads. They were the ones that probably didn't get along, even though the woman in the blue says it was her. I bet this brother here had a lot of unresolved issues with his dad. He's probably the youngest child. He looks like he's younger.
He looks like
than
he's the youngest. Yeah.
And I think that he's thinking of it from his perspective, that, oh, dad wants to apologize to me, and dad this, and I should have had a better relationship with dad. And guys, spoiler alert, he's ignored in Matt's view completely. He's never mentioned or acknowledged. And
he's
how
probably waiting.
He's probably he's sitting there waiting for his turn.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cruel. Okay.
All right.
Going back.
Dad's going like this, Matt, I shouldn't have been so stupid. He goes, my daughter was so upset with me because I let my ego and my pride get in the way of everything. And this is what's so funny, is that this is how you felt, right? But your sister Monica over there, You were the opposite. You're like, dad is dad. Dad is whatever. I just accept dad for who he is. And like, you were always put in the middle because your sister used to be like, well, dad just doesn't care about anything. Dad just does his own thing. Dad still lives like he's a teenager, right?
Yeah, it's 100%.
This is what I'm saying. So I need to let you know that it's not that your dad loves one more than the other, but he's here to say this. And this is why you can both be here together to hear the same person, but you got two completely different readings because Marissa, your dad is saying to you, I need to let you know that I'm sorry. Because he says, I should have treated you differently. And your dad said to me that he realizes now that that rough, tough exterior that you have, that you were always very sensitive. He says, I should have done more to nurture our relationship. But your dad was the type of person where when he didn't want to deal with something, he walked away and that was it. And he pretended like, oh, like, I'm just going to put this behind it. We're going to be fine. We're going to be good. And that's going to be it. Yeah. And I see you being like, but we're not good. You didn't do anything. You didn't say you're sorry. And I can't move on until you say you're sorry, until you accept accountability. And your dad tells me that you've always been hard-headed like that. Like you will pin someone's balls to the wall and hold their feet to the fire and be like, listen, you better admit what you did and you better say that you're sorry. You understand that? Mm-hmm. Not just with your dad, but with everybody. Is that how she is? Is that how she is, Monica?
Yes.
And with you, Monica, I said that you.
Okay, so I'm going to pause right there. I thought it was odd that he says, you're the type that takes and pins people's balls to the walls, and not a one of these people reacted. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, the brother seems to be like dissociated now. He's like left the room mentally.
He's helping out with, like, the child drops a toy, he picks it up, he hands it to the child. Yeah, the child tries to climb behind. He's like making sure the child isn't sticking fingers in sockets.
Yeah, he made sure the garland didn't get pulled down. And
he's holding it because he's the youngest sibling there. It's obvious.
And the middle woman in beige is she's just functioning as like, yes, smile, yes, just giving him all these cues that he's on the right track. And the woman in front in the blue who's the hard ass, I guess, according to Matt. Oh yeah, and he never made up with you. He just kind of expected, and as he's saying this, she's tearing up. You can tell that the woman in blue is tearing up and getting emotional. And then Matt hits us with this revelation. But your dad knew that underneath it all, you were sensitive. Really, Matt? Maybe the fact that she's tearing up right now tells you she's not like a cold-hearted, she actually does have feelings, and her dad should have known that. So he's providing this post-mortem acknowledgement of the woman's feelings. And have you noticed that through this whole time, he's gone on and on and on about how his dad has let his ego get in the way, and they had this long disagreement. Matt doesn't mention what it was about at all.
And no names. Well,
no, he doesn't mention like, and I know the family really got torn up over money, and that actually was generic enough. It probably could have worked.
Or another woman. Cheating.
Yes, he didn't. He felt bad because he ran off with that other woman for a while and left your
gambling. They're in Nevada.
He took the grocery money and spent it on alcohol. He doesn't mention anything,
right?
Except for the generic, hard-headed, big ego, wouldn't apologize. Everything that's just a definition of two people having a problem with each other.
He makes like a stereotype of this man, and Matt does this a lot, and actually Tyler Henry does the same thing too. They're going down on a cold reading path, and they make people into 2D kind of, you're the dad. He works on cars. He leaves his wife. She does all the housework. He doesn't appreciate her. He doesn't take care of his health. I mean, it's just a generic thing.
Yeah, stereotypes are safe.
Oh yeah, for real. Yeah. Okay, let's go back and see. I think the woman in brown is the oldest. I've been really looking at her and her brother, and I think she's the oldest. And it's Monica's house. I think that's the one in blue, which is why she's got command of the keyboard. And little brother's there. Remember, this is right before Christmas, so they're together. Okay, let's see what Matt's got to.
You don't like confrontation. You're the opposite. You're like, don't worry about it. All right, he didn't mean it. All right, he'll be over this. So please know that your dad is here because I first of all have to tell you that when I'm connecting with him on the other side, this is a message to both of you now. He says to me this. He says, listen, even though we had different relationships, he says, I loved you both the same. He says, I knew that I had to handle both of you differently. He says, but the thing is this. He says, I should have worked harder for the both of you here in this world. He talks about that separation with your mom. And he tells me that he relied on your mom to do everything. He relied on your mom to be the coddler. He relied on your mom to be the emotional one, to support you, to do this, to do that. But the funny part is that I see your mom behind the scenes working like a dog, doing everything for the two of you. But your dad was the one that was like, like wore the award. Like, he's like, oh, my daughters are so amazing. I love my daughters. My daughters are so close to me. I do everything for my daughters. And literally your dad's missing in action and your mom is working like an animal behind the scenes. You understand that?
100%.
Because your dad said to me, like, he says, Matt, he goes, I loved my daughters. He goes, but also he goes, I used to brag about them because I see, like, even like he tells me he used to get so pissed because people would be talking about, like, oh, your dad loves you so much. Your dad does so much for you. And you're like, wait, he doesn't do anything. What are you talking about? My mom did this. My mom did that. Your dad said to me, listen, he goes, Matt, tell my daughters that when I was here, he goes, I took the credit. He says, and I apologize. He says, because you are my daughters, he goes, I always felt that your mom had things handled and I should have stepped up to the plate more. And he's acknowledging that.
All right. This poor kid in the back. I feel so bad for him.
I kept looking at his face every time Matt said daughters.
Uh-huh.
Your dad's telling me my daughter's this, my daughter's that. He doesn't say, if he could have just said kids, he would have included the little brother, but
and maybe others that are missing.
Yeah, we don't know. But yeah, and did you see viewers at home, you can't see this, but as the woman in front in the blue was getting the reading, her small child was in her arms, poking her face, just poking at her. Did you see that? It's like, why are you paying attention to the weird man? You know,
they're starting the next generation, because you know that these kids will be raised on the fact that you can talk to the dead, and grandpa came through, and
I mean, who knows? Sad. Yeah, but again with the generic stuff, and the stuff that he's saying now is so generic that it's practically a stand-up routine, like the memes and the TikToks you see where frustrated women who have children, even if the guy is still there and like hasn't like left the family, even if he's still there, the woman always, I mean, they've done studies on how overworked the mother usually is, while the father does not do quite as much. And so that's such an easy grab. And he's like, yes, and your mother worked herself like a dog. And you see the two women nodding their heads and everything. And then sibling dynamics. Susan, did you grow up with siblings?
Yeah, I was the baby.
Yeah, and I did too. And you know, I've helped raise kids who I got to watch the sibling dynamic at hand. And there's usually, if one of the kids, just by definition, if the woman in blue was the hard-headed one, was the one who went no contact with the dad for a while, the other one is not like that. The one in beige,
right,
in comparison, because you know, just like
she's a peacemaker.
She's a peacemaker.
She's the oldest.
You tend to have one sibling who's the peacemaker, one sibling who is the start the fight sibling. These is not hard to make assumptions here.
Absolutely. Again, the brother is just looking ahead, like, it'll be my turn in a minute, right? It'll be my turn in a minute. Somebody's going to notice that I'm here. I don't understand why Matt didn't at the very beginning of this say, and who are all of you guys? Because he's done that before in other videos where he's asked, and how, you know, there's three people on the screen, you two are sisters and you're the brother or whatever. Because now he's stuck. He doesn't know Matt can't bring the guy into the conversation because he doesn't know who he is.
You know how, like, if you get to know somebody very casually, like in the office or something, and they're like not in your department and you don't know their name, and you reach a point where you can't ask their name because it would be awkward. He's to that point now.
Just like that, where you don't know somebody.
He's now telling this family that his dad, your dad is telling me blah, 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 blah. And he can't go, oh, by the way, is that a cousin or
who's
your
the guy in black?
Yeah. He's past that point. He's just going to barrel forward and stick with the women who are going like this all
Uh-huh.
the time, and of course their names were given to him.
It's on the screen.
Yeah, their names were given. Yeah, their
But the
names
boy's
were
name's
the
not on
screen,
there.
and they registered and paid their money or whatnot to see him. So that's who he's going to focus on.
This guy is just, but yeah, I'm more and more, I'm feeling really, really bad for this guy. I mean, he's
unless things go wrong, unless he says something that both of the women are like, oh, I don't know what, no, that doesn't ring a bell at all. He's going to be like, oh, what's your name? It's probably for you.
hey, what's your name? And there's no names. Oh, here's a question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Is their mother, alive or dead?
I think she's alive. She just doesn't want to participate in this.
But Matt's been keeping it generic.
He hasn't.
He has not made it one way or the other.
Yeah.
And so I think that's on purpose because Matt does not know if the mother's alive or dead.
You think he would know?
You would think he would know, but no, he doesn't. And when he went with a mystery, why does he just say it's a mystery person instead of saying, the name? The whole thing is just so obviously it's cold reading that
yeah,
I can't see how people can't see through it, except that in this case, these people are emotionally invested and they're not going to see it the same way you and I would. But
yeah, they're going through the moment, and you've called to mind here the fact that this father wronged his daughters, according to the narrative we're watching unfold here.
At least the one in blue.
Yeah,
and to his wife.
But his wife would be the one. You'd think if the mother was still alive, Matt would be like, your dad is telling me to please apologize to your mother because he knows he put your mother through so much. Or if
Matt can't do that.
If the mother had passed, he would be saying he's
there made up with your mom.
With her, they've made up, they're
dancing
fine. But he can't go to either one of those because he doesn't know which
he doesn't know.
Yeah,
exactly. He can't. And I was also thinking, we don't know if there's other spouses at this point. Did the mother remarry? Did the father remarry? Are there other children that are missing? None of them are mentioned. And it's just stereotyped, Here's a couple that are separated. I'm not even 100% sure they're divorced. I just know that they're separated.
He really took that one notion of your dad, when they're like our dad, and he's like, oh, they're separated, and then, oh, you didn't get along, blah blah blah. And you notice he's completely abandoned drug abuse and depression, which was the first thing he said.
Well, I think it's going to come back. At least the drugs are going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see. Okay, let's go. Keep going. We'll get through this.
For now.
He's also telling me when I'm speaking with him that he made bad choices within life as well. Because when I'm speaking to him, he's also talking about ignoring things with his health when I'm speaking with him. And because of that, he's also showing me the abuse of medications that's here. So the moment I'm speaking to his soul, he's talking about abusing medications when I'm connecting with him. How do you connect with that?
He for a long time was addicted to pain pills, Vicodin. He was just an addict for a long time.
Okay, now here's where it gets interesting as a medium. I got to tell you exactly what your dad's telling me and showing me. I don't know if it's one chasing the other, but I will tell you your dad's pain was real. Because when I'm connecting with him, I feel all this pain within my body. And I don't know if it was just a result of that addiction, but your dad said to me, if he was not taking those pills, he could not thrive. He could not live. His pain was all throughout his body. And what I also see is that there was questions over his passing because of who was giving him the pills or where he was getting the pills.
I'm going to stop right there before we get to that point. Ooh, look at that visual.
Yeah.
Oh, so wow. The brother is really upset about, you can see him before he was talking about the pills.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot about Vicodin and stuff like that. You probably do, but isn't that something given to you if you've had an injury, like a work or something?
I know Dr. House on the TV show is addicted to it, but the brother right there is biting his lip. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And every time Matt says something that is a hit, the woman in beige puts a hand to her mouth, or puts
a hit to something. We don't know.
Both hands to her mouth, like
she's
so shocked and surprised that he's like nailed something, and nothing is really like getting nailed. he's saying something generic, and she's letting him know, she's telescoping in a big way. Yes, this is a thing that is important to us. And so that he goes down that path, and he talks about pain pills. I mean, that's okay.
Well, it is common these days.
It is common.
And she told him, he just said medications.
Yeah, she said, yeah, he was addicted to pain pills. And Matt wasn't talking about pain until she said that.
Exactly.
He was saying medications. He took too much medications, and she's like, he was addicted to pain pills. And then he goes, oh yes, your dad was racked with pain. Trust me, the pain was real. He didn't know that until she said pain pills.
Now, this next part that's going to come up is very interesting, because the woman in blue is the one who had the problem with her dad, but she's going to admit that she's the one that took him in and during hospice. And she is, there seems to be, he had a problem with Vicodin and prescription pills at one point. And then he's recovered from that. And that now he's going to start back on medication during hospice, and that was a problem in their mind. And so there's time that has passed. This man has come back from his addiction, and and you'll see in a minute that the husband, the father, is the one who's concerned about taking medication.
See, I have a different spin on that.
Really?
Because I saw him reaching for the medication thing as just old people take medicine, and especially old guys of that generation, looking at their household and the way they're dressed, they're thoroughly middle class, working class people. I would be willing to bet my entire bank account on the fact that none of them are orthodontists or doctors or lawyers. These are working class people, possibly tradespeople. And if their dad worked for a living, like if he was a roofer or in sheet metal, or perhaps in the army when he was younger, he's got old injuries and he's going to need pain pills. That is not hard to assume.
I agree. Yeah, this is a man who probably worked very hard and has injuries and just had a family to take care of, and he needed to get by. That's what I'm thinking. But then again, Matt's so general that we're not 100% sure what's going on, but that's my impression.
He's relying on stereotypes, and that's kind of what I'm doing here too, in terms of like, I'm reading the room in terms of what I'm seeing visually from them and how they act and how they're responding. And I'm just admitting I'm playing the odds here. And Matt is like, I'm talking to your dead dad. So
let's just go down this path. Well, that's what he's doing. He's good at this. Okay, so let's go. This is going to get to the death. I found this fascinating.
Yeah.
He was on hospice with me, and I was doing his morphine and his anxiety medication. The last day, the day before he died, the doctors had just upped his dosage, and at that point we were only giving him half because he was kind of nervous about it. So they finally told me to give him the full dose, and after that he fell asleep and just never woke up.
There's this hurt and pain that's here about like how he had died, and like even questioning, like, did I murder my dad? Did I kill my dad? I need to let you know you didn't. And I need to let you know that your dad is here right now and saying, do you know how many medications I took? He's like, do you know how many times? He goes, I mixed medications with alcohol. I took things off the street. He goes, I smoked a blunt. He showed me all these things that he did, right? And your dad's saying that he does not want you to hold on to that hurt and pain. He says to me that what he wants you to know is that you both stepped up for him in every way possible. And your dad says to me that you have to forgive yourself, because your dad tells me that you've been holding on to this for years and years and years, like all this time, both with the relationship that you had with him, and then feeling guilty when you did what the doctor instructed you to do. But also, I want you to know this, okay? I want you to know that even though your dad on the outside looked like everything was fine, and you gave him that medication, and he went into this like a coma, and he was like, he just passed. I need you to know this. His body was, your dad always pushed himself to the limit. So even when he had died, whatever last bit of energy he had up until you gave him that medication, he was pushing through. So whether you gave him that medication or not, that did not cause your dad's passing. I have to be honest with you. So he shows me him going like literally running through this illness like at 100 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden it's just like boom, he passes, and you're like, wait, what? There was no slowdown. There was no like 100 to 60 to 40 to 20 to, it was just like he died.
Yeah.
Your dad needs you to know that that's just the way that he was within life. He says, my life was 0 to 100 all the time. There was no in between. And he is so sorry that he had to leave you with that, because he says, I never wanted my girls to have that pain. I never wanted my girls to have that hurt. And he needs you to know that. But I also want you to know.
Gosh, even more, I just saw the woman in blue. She turned her head and she made one of those big dimples on her right cheek. And that's what the brother has. It is definitely siblings.
And he's like, my
same
girls.
dimple, same spot.
Yeah. And he
So-
was saying daughters and girls, and my girls this and my
You
girls
both.
that.
He says you both
Yeah,
did this.
Totally cutting out the brother there.
Yeah, he's oh, it's just cruel because he's only, and I mean, if he was a spouse or anything of the sort, he would have probably reached over to his sister at some point to comfort her. But he's not. He is absolutely been, I mean, he might as well not even be in the frame.
Yeah. And that's interesting that she said she handled hospice for her father.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much, I've only been around a couple people who were nearing the end of their lives. And in each case, the doctors prescribed morphine,
Mm-hmm.
just because that's one of the hospice drugs that, I mean, when you're in hospice because you're not going to live much longer.
Yeah,
and
you're dying.
Morphine is a very powerful painkiller, number, and yeah, and Matt is doing something here where I'm quite sure Matt sleeps fine at night, because he's like, I got to relieve that woman of all the guilt she's carrying around. Well, he didn't start with this. You'd think that would be the first thing the dad would have said if the dad was actually whispering in his ear.
Mm-hmm.
Tell my daughter she didn't kill me. That's huge. But instead he started with vague depression, addiction issues, mystery soul. And I'm not actually, and he says some stuff that, like, you've pointed out, that he like turns people into this flat two-dimensional caricature, dare I say.
Ooh.
And he said, yeah, your dad is telling me right now, that come on, do you know how much I put my body through? Do you know how much I took drugs off the street? I smoked a blunt, I'd mix it with alcohol, blah, blah. And he's listing all this stuff that a very irresponsible medication user might do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that the dad was like that, because if the dad, she says, oh, the doctors had upped his morphine to this level and he was only taking half because he was worried about it.
Right. He was worried about it.
Yeah, if the dad was the type to worry about taking what the doctor had actually prescribed, I can't imagine he was out there, getting Vicodin off the streets and smoking blunts and mixing alcohol with it.
I agree.
So,
and here's the thing. I don't think that this woman actually thought she had killed her father until Matt mentioned it.
oh, really?
I am not getting it at all. As I said, I've watched this a few times, and she kind of has that, like, well, I guess it kind of is in my mind, but it really wasn't something I was thinking, because you know why? It's because I just finished with Mark a year and a half ago. Exactly this. He was in hospice in my house in a room right next to me. And I was given morphine for him, to give to him. And I didn't give him enough. And so I didn't know how much, I mean, they told me, but I gave him some morphine one night, and it was me, I had people coming over, but at nighttime, it was just me and him and the raccoon. But it was just him and I wasn't sleeping. And so they told me, give him some morphine so you can actually get a few hours of sleep, because you need to get some sleep. And so I gave him morphine, and Mark just talked and waved his arms, and and I was just unable to sleep. And so finally the next night they said, give him the correct dose. You can see from his forehead, they were describing, they said, now you can look, if he's in pain, you look at his forehead and you look at his face and you can see he's in pain. Give him the morphine. He's dying, give it to him and let him pass, let him go. And so I gave him a full dose the next the next time, and my gosh, he was out. He was completely out, and people came and they were, able to talk to him, and they were able to do this and that. And he just slept. Well, whatever you call it when you're under morphine, no pain, nothing.
Yeah.
And people were able to talk to him and so on. But I was able to get a full night's sleep for the first time in, gosh, I don't even know how long, but and I need that.
Yeah. Well,
So I don't think she thinks she killed him, because morphine isn't going to kill him in the dosage she's going to give him.
yeah, and that's also something that she would have started with, like,
Mhm.
instead of just, she might just blurt out immediately, I think I maybe killed my dad. That wasn't on the forefront of her mind until Matt brought it there.
Right.
And
I think that's exactly right. I don't think it even occurred to her, maybe just in the back of her mind. Sterling gave the morphine, the last dose, to Mark. And so we kind of joked with him a little bit. Oh yeah, you're the one,
Oh,
but
well,
he did. And we kind of slightly joked about it, but we know darn well that the amount of morphine that they're getting is not enough to really end the life. It's just to make them comfortable, and so that the process can happen.
yeah.
I mean, I could have given Mark multiple doses of it, and it probably wouldn't have done anything to him.
I don't know. A close friend of mine once said that she said that when her mother was dying of cancer, the doctors upped the morphine, and she's like, and I think that helped her go, and I'm fine with that.
I think that's what happens. Yeah.
Hanging on would, and she's like, and I hope when I get to that point, I have a doctor or a nurse that will up the morphine for me. And at the time, Dr. Kevorkian was in the news, years and years ago.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know what to make of this beyond what we've observed here. I don't know if this girl actually carries around a bunch of guilt that Matt believes he's absolved her of. But she's having a very powerful moment. And I wanted to talk about just the fact that people glaze over when they're in the spotlight and this is happening. Have you heard of I don't know if there's an actual effect called this, but the man in the street interviews. Have you seen the man in the street interviews on a talk show?
Oh, I've seen lots of those. Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel does it, et cetera, et
Uh-huh.
cetera. There's this like known effect, if you are a producer of a talk show or something, that you can put a microphone in somebody's face and make them say the dumbest stuff
Mm-hmm.
because their mind just goes blank.
Yeah.
It takes practice to be able to conduct yourself in front of a camera in a situation where your voice is being recorded. And when they get man on the street, bits for comedy or whatever else, they rely on the fact that people aren't good at doing any of that on spontaneously. So they say dumb stuff. They'll agree to anything. You can say,
Mhm.
"Oh, did you eat cabbage for breakfast?" "Oh, yeah, I did."
Yeah.
They'll agree. They'll become very agreeable,
Or they'll nod.
and they'll nod. Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
nod
even if they
along.
don't agree, they're nodding, and it looks like
Yeah.
agreeing.
Yeah, just like I'm sure you've seen the interviews. Jimmy Kimmel, like I said, and other people, other talk show hosts have gone out, and they'll present people with fake news. Oh, did you hear that? The president just announced an executive order that said blah blah blah, and they put it in the person's face. Oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Oh, did you read about the news that scientists have found out that broccoli causes cancer? Oh yes, I read about that. They'll agree to anything.
Uh-huh.
And I think Matt and all psychics that put their readings out for blast, or it's not a private reading,
Mhm.
it's you're being watched by a bunch of other people as it's happening, either on a stage or in an online situation like this. I think people are responding with that effect going on as well.
That's fascinating. You're probably right. Well, let's see what happens to this dad.
Okay.
I mean, are we ever going to find out his name? Are we ever going to find out if their mother's alive? Will we find out if that is the brother, if he loved his brother, the brother?
Both of you, that he is a special
The
angel
both
with
of
you
you.
every single
Again,
day. And
both
when I'm
of you.
connecting with your dad, he says to me this. He says, there's one thing that I regretted, that I never shared with you girls. I never talked with you girls. He says, and that was splitting up the family here in this world. Your dad needs you to know that, because your mom truly did love him. And he truly did love her. But I got to tell you, did not want to change his ways. And and I got to tell you something, all right? And this is crazy. Like, I've never seen this in a reading before, but I'm just going to be honest. Even though your mom and dad were divorced, right, and separated, and even though like they like could not stand each other here in this world, okay? Your dad still treated her like he was his wife. Like, he still like talked about her like it was his wife. Like, oh yeah, she's taking care of the kids. Oh yeah, she's doing this. Oh yeah, she's doing that. Like, and it's like, even though they weren't together, right? It's like, to your dad, he expected your mom to do things like she was still his wife.
Yes, yes.
So it's like this weird relationship that I'm seeing. And I want you to know that he is saying, like, he says, Matt, he says, I made so many mistakes. He says, it would have been easier. And I feel like you used to joke with your mom and dad. Like, you used to tease them and be like, it would have been easier if you two would just get back together. If you two of you were just together with one another, even though you knew that would never happen, right?
Yeah.
But your dad said to me this. He wants to thank you for being there when he needed you the most. He says, and I never want you to feel as though that I didn't love you or cherish our relationship, because I did. He says, I just didn't always show it. He says, I didn't know how, but I showed it to other people. And still to this day, that's why your dad had to come through, to let you know that he's okay, to let you know that he's fine, and that he is safe and at peace.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Is this your first time being here?
We were
here yesterday.
Oh, you were here yesterday. Didn't get a message.
Right. Yeah.
I am so happy that you decided to come today, because like I said, your dad was waiting. And sometimes I tell people, come back if you don't get a message, because it doesn't mean that your loved one wasn't here. Sometimes there's something you need to hear or experience before they come through, and it helps to open the channel. And I know that that's why your dad was here right now, to let you know that, and to let you know that in spirit that he is okay, he's with you, and that he is safe and at peace.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, let's
Wouldn't
end
be
that.
a reading without a call to action.
Call to action. Good thing. Show up again and again. I feel horrible for that young man. He's at this point, he's like, you both did this so much for your dad. You both. And then and I could see the guy's eyes dropping like more and more. And then at one point he's got his head, kind of his chin resting on the top of the baby in his lap. And
I think he realizes he's just wallpaper at that
Dad
point.
did not love me. Is it Eric Trump on this?
Oh, well, he at one point Matt was saying, you know, your dad feels bad that he split up the family, and I'm like, Matt, you're splitting up the family. You are dividing this young man away from his sisters completely.
Absolutely. And I don't understand. Here's dad. Dad finally gets a chance to talk to his kids, the three that are there. There may be more, but these three kids, and he's alienating one completely. And there's grandkids obviously there. So why doesn't he say, Dad is watching over the grandkids? He's like a guardian angel to them. He's watching them grow up. He thinks wonderful things will happen to them. And one of them's going to take a piano. And I mean, fictional things that there's no way we'd know, but he could say stuff like that. One of them, I think you need to get a piano, because one of the kids is just going to blossom at that or something.
Just like we don't know whether or not the mother is still alive. We don't know whether or not the father ever met any of these grandkids.
That's true, but he can say he's watching over them.
They were like maybe 3 years old. I think, was there two or just one? No, there was like a small baby in arms, and then there's like a 3 or 4 year old that kept poking at the mother's face.
Yeah, so there's two girls.
If that grandfather died, or the father died like 5 years ago, he may have not ever known that he had grandkids on the way. You know, who knows? But
yeah, you're exactly right.
And so Matt, that's a dangerous thing for him to mention. Or well, I suppose he
could have just said grandkids.
Yeah, he knows about them, even though he's crossed over. He knows you've had kids. You know, there's a lot of ways he could cover for that. But again, with the mother, and like, oh, and even though they were divorced, your father relied on her and kept acting like she was still his wife. Again, that's a stereotype. You see that happen over and over and over again. Every one of my friends who's gotten divorced has been annoyed because the husband still expected her to do X, Y, Z, even though it was his responsibility now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The divorce came out of nowhere. What I noticed is that when he said, you know, your parents were divorced, and then he changed it quickly to separated because he's not really sure which one it is. And then he said, and like they should have gotten back together again even though you guys know that wasn't going to happen, and they both go, yeah, it was not going to happen. And I think it's because somebody remarried. And they know that wasn't going to happen. My mom remarried and she's moved on, and and living a happy life. And or dad remarried also, or I doubt dad remarried because the daughter took care of him in hospice. So
Yeah,
I think he was not remarried, or unless she had died earlier. But if these people are in their 30s, then dad would probably be in his 50s, maybe early 60s. So we're not talking.
You never know.
So mom is probably alive.
Yeah.
We don't know. And Matt is
doesn't know either.
He doesn't know either. That's why he never gets into anything specific. And there's no names. He doesn't say, I see you named one of the grandkids after me, or well, they're both girls, so I guess not. But you were thinking of you were thinking of naming one of the grandkids after me, I understand. Or there was some conversation about naming one of the grandkids after me. And then he could have said, I want them to have their own name. I don't want them to, you might think it's an honor, but I want them to have their own name or whatever.
Susan, you're thinking of ways that Matt could have been more convincing. And you could go.
I'm going to go into this business. There's a lot of money to make.
This business, we both probably could. But boiling down what he said in that entire very expensive reading was probably, I know that somebody died. There was depression and possibly addiction issues, and then it went to, oh, your dad is your dad, and
they said it's my dad, it's our dad.
And there was some strife, and she's like, yeah, we were, we didn't talk, oh, well, you and he didn't get along. And then he went into all the ways they didn't get along, and it was all generic, like fortune cookie stuff.
Yeah, tropes of somebody being stubborn, but also being compassionate and sensitive. Somebody being a peacemaker who's also non-confrontational. And it was kind of like he was playing both sides, because if you're non-confrontational, you can still be peaceful. You can be the peacemaker and be confrontational. It was kind of like he's playing, you're an introvert, but sometimes you're an extrovert. But sometimes you're not. Sometimes you like being around people, but then other times you like to be in, by yourself.
Yeah, you're hard ass, but you also have a sensitive side. He was big with the Barnum statements there. And Matt's performance really kind of reminds me of the way that a good stand-up comedian can talk about something so relatable, but in a way that makes you feel like, oh, he's seeing into my life.
Oh, it's fresh. It's so specific.
Yeah, like, oh, have you ever noticed that you always lose that one sock in the laundry? And your mind goes, I lose a sock in the laundry too, even though everybody does. But it feels like they're talking to you. And Matt, and he's got the very personable, like, I'm your funny auntie from Flushing, Queens, kind of way of interacting with people. I think it throws people off. It's very showmanshipy.
And he's looking them right in the eye. He's just got transfixed, right? His eyes right on them. And so they feel seen.
They feel seen by a celebrity.
Oh yeah, this is Matt Fraser is America's top medium. Just look at his website. He says he's also a New York Times bestselling author, and he also has a TV show, a popular TV show. Only made it one season, but
I'd be very curious to find out if any of these folks who are getting readings have the experience where they're like, why did I agree to that? Why did I say that?
Mm-mm.
Like it just happens, and they're kind of along for the ride, and they're like, he said
pretty generic, wasn't it?
Yeah, he said I had this type of relationship with so and so, and I didn't, but I said I did. Because I feel like, like just like the man in the street effect, you get a microphone in your face, you feel like you're in the spotlight, you just kind of go, uh-huh.
I don't think so. I think these people are going to leave this reading feeling amazing. They had a nice cry.
Yeah.
and they felt bonded, except for the brother. He's gonna feel miserable. But the two sisters are gonna feel amazing, and until they realize that dad never did acknowledge you, did he? That was kind of crappy. I think they might notice it,
Oh
but
no, it's you can't control what happens, and
so dad really didn't love you.
they'll just have to sign up for another reading. See, because the brother didn't sign up for the reading, the sisters signed up for the reading. So the brother's going to get bupkis
That poor kid.
unless he ponies up the money and comes back again. So
He's going to feel like rot. And I've seen other people give reading. There's two people in the call,
yeah,
and Matt's talking to one person, and they'll refer to the other person. Oh, but my sister, and they like leans over to the sister, like, oh, and my friend here, that kind of relates to her. I think it might be them. I've seen them do that often, but in this case, these sisters never once acknowledged the fact that the brother is just sitting there like,
yeah.
am I invisible? I
They
mean,
didn't pull him in or anything.
they didn't say, whatever his name is, Joey. Oh my gosh, don't you think that makes sense? I mean, they did look at each other a few times and kind of acknowledge some of the stuff, but for the most part, there was just,
and we don't have solid proof that he's a brother, but he was.
oh, I know he's a brother.
Yeah,
I'm
he's nodding
psychically
at all the right times, and he looks like them.
He has the exact same dimple, the
Yeah.
same dimple in the cheek as the woman in blue.
Yeah,
And
they
just a
have
lot.
the same kind of eye nose structure, and they all appear to be of the same ethnicity.
Yeah, and he's cuddling with the kids and everything. So I have a
Yeah.
feeling it's his niece. Yeah, I think he's the younger
uncle.
uncle. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's just totally hated by his father. Why does my father not love me? I mean, maybe he's not really my dad. I don't know. They're going to leave this reading feeling amazing, and that dad, all those things that we noticed were not there, they're going to fill in as being there. Like dad knew that he knew about hospice, he knew about the drugs, he knew about mom. He even knew about, that he wouldn't get back together with mom because mom had already remarried. He knew about, he named people by name because they're not recording this.
Well, and
So they're never going to look at this reading again.
There's another, sorry, shaking my monitor here. There's another form of corruption possibly going on that I'm sure you've touched on in other videos. You know the nature of memory, and you've read Elizabeth Loftus's work and how it's not that hard to change a memory that you have or that somebody else has. If you have the right triggers, if you do the right things, if it's called up in the right way, you can totally change your memories. Do you think these women might go away, or any of the people that Matt reads will go away with different memories of their loved one? I mean, specifically, like they might be like, oh yeah, our dad, he would mix.
What a jerk.
He would mix medications with alcohol. He took drugs off the street and
smoked joints.
Yeah, smoke joints, and their dad may not have done any of that.
Right.
And that's just something that came out of Matt Fraser's mouth.
And they agreed to it, sort of, because they don't know.
Yeah.
But their memories, I say that here, I've got this written down right here, just for you. Actually, another reading that I did with Richard Saunders and Laura Binham. And it was a parents who, it's on my channel already, but the parents had their son come through. Well, a young man in mystery who died tragically came through, and they said, that's my son. Exactly like this. I mean, it's almost verbatim. So they said it was her son. So Matt goes all the way through the reading, just like he did with the dad. And then at the very end, Matt says, here's what the son is saying. So he's quoting the son. And the son says, that is the real me, that's me coming through right now. In other words, all that you have known of me in the past was fake. That wasn't me. Now, what is coming out of Matt's mouth is the true me. In other words, he's rewriting their memory right there. Just like, just forget everything that you knew about your son.
Yeah.
And come and have readings with me more often. And I will explain who I am.
Every interaction and memory you have of him, you will now doubt. Yeah,
That was not me. That
that's
was, or maybe when he was a little boy, but when he started to get into trouble. But it's the same kind of thing. They're rewriting these people's memories, and it's cruel. I oh,
it's cruelty dressed up as kindness. Matt fully believes he has relieved that woman of the burden of thinking she murdered her father, but Matt was the one who uttered the words, and he pretty quickly too. She's like, and so I gave him the dose of morphine the doctors prescribed, and he goes, "So you think you murdered your dad, huh?" And I mean, he came out with that really quick.
and she's like, and
you shouldn't think you murdered your dad. Your dad said
okay,
he was a street drug using alcoholic, blah blah blah, so he would have withstood anything you gave him. And
they're like, okay, thank you for
they were more than okay. They were
believe.
like, they're nodding. The one woman in the back was like, oh, a lot of that going on. And I'm not trying to make fun of them. I'm not trying to clown the way that they were responding. I'm just saying there was a lot of pronounced body language that definitely made his job easier.
And yeah, and to reiterate what you're saying, these are people caught up in an emotion. They're probably conditioned to believe in life after death, and they're conditioned to believe that it's possible to communicate with the dead, because if you believe in life after death, then why wouldn't somebody be able to once in a while communicate with the dead? And he's famous. He's got a TV show. He's got a best-selling book. He's America's top medium, according to his website.
I wonder too, the young man was a lot more subdued. I mean, he did a little bit of nodding, and like you said,
he wiped some tears.
He had a little bit of, but the women were far more effusive, and I wonder if Matt Fraser steered completely towards them because of that too. Because I mean, here you got two very easy marks. Why waste time on the quieter one that's not quite as obvious,
Well, from watching the videos that I have, when there's a man in the picture, and there are sometimes sitting with a woman, he never ever reads a single man. Though I think I found one video, but it's not from one of these gallery readings.
Yeah.
And he had, we've watched 40 or 50 readings from gallery readings, and there's never ever been a single man. But if it's been a man there, the man is always stoic. They will wipe away a tear slightly, but they're always like, we don't get any of them showing huge amounts of emotion. The women, boy, they go full bore. Some of them do. Some are stoic, but that's where you're getting the emotion, because he's got an audience. Matt's got an audience. He's got all these other people watching it, so it's got to be a good show. This is the first reading of the night.
Yeah.
So why would you talk to this young man?
Yeah.
I think that the dad just didn't love him. I mean, he didn't even acknowledge him in the room. And it was always, you both. Dad is talking about you both and how all the things you did for him.
His daughters, his girls, you both. And random Nevada family, if you happen to spot this video somewhere and you're watching yourselves on it, young man, your dad loved you.
Yeah.
Now you have it. Your dad, I can tell your dad loved you.
And none of what Matt said was true. So
yeah,
he really wasn't communicating with you. So I'm so sorry. Yeah. Nobody, we're going to come off as hated, horrible human beings. It's really sad to be unloved people, because we're just trying to keep people, we're just trying to explain, but they will see this kind of thing. If this random family came across this video, which I know they never will, but if they did, they would say we're the evil ones, and how dare you take away this memory I had with my dad, and on and on. They won't see that we're trying to explain how it was that they were fooled, and their grief was manipulated for his benefit.
Yeah. And before we go, just the last thing I want to bring up is Matt turned that into a commercial very quickly at the end. Oh, you were here before. Oh, see, this is just proof that if you're here today and you don't get, nobody comes through for you, come back again. You got to do it multiple times. It's okay, because sometimes the spirits aren't ready to come through. Sometimes something in your life has to happen. So he's pitching for the chronic reader, the person who does this once a month or something, once a week, who knows.
He does readings probably 2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah.
Well, he's about to have his 3rd baby that he didn't see coming. The 2nd baby is an infant, and his 3rd baby's born in January, I think.
How is he having these babies?
Well, his wife is.
He has a wife?
Yes. He's got 3 kids, and they're all, well, he's got 2, and one's about he married a model.
I completely did not see him being heterosexual.
No, everybody says that to me.
Okay.
Everybody does. Well, I mean, he may not, I don't know, but he's about to have he's going on paternity leave and right after this. So he's not going to do readings again until March. So he's got, I came out to Vegas. I was in Vegas with you. Remember, you guys all went to go see Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yes.
And I went to go see Matt. He was there with his pregnant wife, and their little boy was running around. It's part of the show. He gets engaged to, in the Meet the Frasers, the TV show, he gets engaged to her at the very last minute. They're like best friends. They're very similar in personality, and she's a model. Her name is Alexa, I think. And they do a podcast together. And
wow. This is
he has children, and it's the oldest one. When I was there in 2024, October 2024, for when we were in SciCon last, was a little over 2 years old. So 2024, 2025 is about 3 years old. So the oldest child's about 3.5 years old. And the other one, the second one, is a boy also, and it's an infant. And the third one is going to be a daughter, and she's going to be born any day now.
Okay, well.
He didn't see that coming. He says that the third one was unexpected. How could a child be unexpected if you're a psychic medium? I don't get it.
Well, yeah. I wish all families the best, but Matt, I hope you find honest work.
A real career, so your kids will be proud of you, as I've said many times. You want your kids to be proud of you? I think you should get into sales. I think you'd be really good at real estate or selling clothing.
Yes.
Men's Warehouse. I think he should open a whole line of clothing for people who are on stage. He could work there in Vegas and sell sparkly things.
Any number of things he could do. Yeah. That doesn't involve.
Well, he was an EMT.
Yeah.
So he knows his medical stuff. And when you think about it, he's done thousands of readings. This all just rolls off his tongue. He knows all this stuff. Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for including me.
That was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. Lots of good insight. There's a lot of knowledge out there in our community of people have of different areas that,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're blazing the trail here, and
I got the whip out.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck with this, and thank you for having me on.
I really appreciate it. And you guys, you got to check out Scoring in the Strange if you're not already listening to it, because it is really, really good. Very interesting. I just used my Scoring in the Strange dice. Where'd it go? I just lost it. It's here somewhere. I just used it for something a couple days ago.
The dice game.
The dice game with Richard Saunders.
Yes. Yeah.
And I won with it.
Oh, well, it's special then. Okay.
Yes, it's very special. My strange dice. All right. Thank you guys, everyone. I'd love to have your comments. Please leave them below. Like and subscribe if you find this interesting. And if you really want to do one of these with me, let me know. You know how to get a hold of me, and I will be happy to pull you up and put you right in front of the audience. What do we call it? The third man effect? No, the man on the street effect.
Man on the street effect. I don't know if that's a legitimate name, like psychological name for it, but it is the stupidification of anybody owing to the fact that there's a microphone and a camera in their face.
Plus the fact that they edit out the good ones and put only the silliest ones.
Of course.
Because they're trying to make a show.
Yeah.
We forget that kind of stuff. All right. Thank you guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.